Good morning, this is Kathleen Clough with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, August 8th, 2025. The fire potential impacts across the next few days include gusty winds greater than 30 miles an hour and low RH across the southeastern tip of Nevada, the Arizona Strip, the eastern half of Utah, and eastern Idaho and western Wyoming, with the additional chance for some mixed storms and lightning across western Wyoming and northeastern Utah today. On Saturday, that wind risk diminishes to just the Arizona Strip and southern Utah, and there are no other major concerns across the basin, which will remain overall dry, warm, and breezy. On Sunday, we expect hot and dry conditions with high temperatures in the high 90s approaching triple digits across much of Nevada, including the Sierra Front and western central Idaho. Radar estimates from the past 24 hours show some light scattered precip across portions of northern central Idaho, where we had our mixed wet and dry storms yesterday, with the rest of the basin remaining dry. Satellite loop from yesterday afternoon into the evening shows those mixed storms that moved through central Idaho, which brought lightning across northern central Idaho, and additionally a good band of smoke and clouds moving across much of central Utah as well. In the past 24 hours, the Great Basin had 12 new starts for a total of 815 acres and a large fire growth of 993 acres. The past 3 days show the highest precipitation amounts across portions of central Idaho. These areas received at least 1/100 of an inch with sparse pockets of up to 1 inch. The rest of the basin remained dry, and in the last 30 days, received precipitation remains well below normal for most of the Great Basin except northwestern Nevada and sparse pockets in central Idaho. ERC values remain between 50 and 75% across western Idaho and the Sierra Front from recent precipitation, but are back on the rise. ERC values across eastern Nevada, Utah, eastern central Idaho, and western Wyoming remain extremely high, above 97%, and are on the rise across northeastern Utah and portions of central Idaho. Satellite from this morning shows clear skies over Nevada and Idaho, but a mix of smoke and clouds with quite a bit of coverage across northern Utah, which we expect to bring some higher RH values to northeastern Utah over the Beulah fire today. Light smoke impacts across Nevada and Idaho, heavier smoke impacts from ongoing Southern California wildfires across southern Nevada, the Arizona Strip, and Utah today. Less impact across the basin tomorrow, except for the southern tip of Nevada, the Arizona Strip, and southern Utah, which will continue to see heavy smoke impact from those Southern California fires. Today, we continue to see that wind risk across the Arizona Strip, southern and eastern Utah, and western Wyoming. The rest of the basin remains at moderate risk. The Sierra Front and northern central Idaho remain at low to little or no risk due to the previous precip and higher RH values. No precipitation expected within the basin today, maybe a few spotty things as Thursday's system moves east. A little cooler today with max temperatures between the high 70s to high 80s for the northern half of the basin and in the low to mid 90s to even triple digits across southern Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip. Today's wind risk is across the Vegas and Arizona Strip, southern and eastern Utah, and western Wyoming, where we expect to still see those mostly 25 to 35 mile per hour gusts and maybe a few gusts into the 40s. Minimum relative humidity still remain critical and in the single digits between 5 and 10% across those gusty wind areas in the southern half of the Great Basin, and in the teens to low 20s where we've been having our rain in the northern half of the basin. Over the Beulah fire in northeastern Utah today, we will have 1 day of RH recovery with minimum RH around 33%. You can see that in the green here, kind of east of Salt Lake City. On Saturday, the high risk for wind persists over the Arizona Strip and portions of southern Utah. Things begin to dry out, and the Sierra Front is expected to move from low risk to moderate risk. The rest of the basin remains at moderate risk due to continued dry conditions, except northern central Idaho, which will remain low risk. We will be dry again on Saturday with no chance of precipitation, with max temperatures between the high 70s to low 90s for the northern half of the basin, and in the mid 90s, even triple digits across southern Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip. That wind concern persists into Saturday across the Arizona Strip and southern Utah, where we expect gusts between 25 and 35 miles per hour. Minimum relative humidity still remain critical and in the single digits to low teens across those gusty wind areas on the southern edge of the Great Basin, and back into the teens in those high elevation areas of northeastern Utah where we saw some recovery on Friday, and in the low teens to low 20s where we've been having our rain in the northern half of the basin. On Sunday, conditions continue to dry out, causing most of the Great Basin to move to or remain at moderate risk, except northern central Idaho, which has moved to low risk. Major concern for Sunday is hot and dry conditions with no chance of precipitation and high temperatures approaching triple digits across the Sierra Front and in the mid to high 90s across the western and southern half of the basin, with triple digit temps also from Las Vegas east to the Arizona Strip. Not much of a wind concern on Sunday, maybe some brief gusty winds between 20 to 30 miles per hour in the afternoon across the Arizona Strip and a few small areas across central Utah. Minimum RH values remain critical and in the single digits across the southern half of the basin. RH values are slightly higher across the northern half of the basin and are in the mid teens to low 20s on Sunday. Over the next 3 days, the basin will remain completely dry. We've got no chance for precipitation. On Monday, most of the basin remains at moderate risk, except northern central Idaho, which remains at low risk due to those higher RH values and previous precip. But overall, we're still in that warming and drying trend, and less wind maybe on Monday as well. On Tuesday, again, no high risk triggers, still kind of in that just drying pattern. Lighter winds also on Tuesday, so no concerns there. Maybe a little bit higher RH values kind of in those black areas in the video here. On Wednesday, we expect similar conditions. Again, just kind of dry, a little bit breezy, maybe some higher RH values in those green and black areas, but overall, no major concerns on Wednesday. On Thursday, conditions remain similar. We're still kind of in that dry air mass, but there's definitely a higher potential for some breezier winds on Thursday, although this is still day 7, so we're going to be keeping an eye on it. But overall, the basin will remain at that moderate risk level. The next 7 days of precipitation show the chance for some spotty, very light precip in small portions of Utah, which maybe could come on Wednesday and Thursday. But again, forecast wise, we're still a little far out to have too much confidence in that. And the rest of the basin will remain completely dry. The next 8 to 14 days show the chance for above normal temperatures across most of the basin except western and southern Nevada, where we expect near normal temperatures. The precipitation outlook is trending drier and shows below normal precipitation across most of the basin except the Vegas and Arizona Strip and eastern Utah, where we expect near normal precipitation. That concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.